Hăīre, φίλε, and welcome. Today we are in John chapter 4, taking a look at verse 11, finishing off this page. Here is our rubric, everything that we're looking for as we go through this text. Let's get started. So I took a look at pain again, and the dictionary didn't really say one way or another, though it tended to indicate that I've been completely misidentifying this the entire time, that it's actually an aorist infinitive. Oh well. So our two different options, as far as I can tell, and it didn't list this out entirely, this is BDAG that I was referring to, is if it's from the present, our actual uncontracted form is pineen. If it's from the aorist, then our uncontracted form is peen. The epsilon there is pretty common for infinitives. The two epsilons will contract to get the epsilon iota. That's, I think, almost all present infinitives and aorist. What type of aorist? The aorist that starts with omicron nu. Is that first aorist or second aorist? I can never remember. That's something that I need to remind myself of. So, if it is in the present tense, and this is not strange, the nu will drop out, and then we'll all end up with this form anyway. And then the iota and the epsilon, well, the two epsilons will contract into epsilon iota, and then the iota will contract further with them, and then we'll just end up with an epsilon iota circumflex. And that is what will happen with either. Now, it should be noted that sometimes in Greek, I will actually do this one in Burgundy, sometimes in Greek, this verb will contract even further so that all of these letters disappear and we are just left with, oh, that's ugly and impossible to read. Peen. Same thing as that. There we have it. Let's get started properly now. Lego autoi he gune kurie ute antlema ekes kaito frear estin bathu pothen un ekes tu hudor todzon. So, end quote here, and end quote here. Lege, seen that before. Autoi, sub iota right there, dative, singular, masculine. He gune, it's not in all of the earliest texts, but it does make sense right there, just to clarify who's talking. Not that there's anybody else there. Yeah. Nominative, singular, feminine, because the etas. She, the woman, and says to him, present tense, present historic, quote, kurie, we've got that E right there off of kurios. This is going to be a vocative singular masculine for direct discourse. Lord, and what we might read this as is Adonai from the Hebrew, and if that's the case, and I don't know that she knows enough about Jesus for this to be likely, but it could be the case that in her calling him Lord, she could be referring to him as the stand-in Hebrew word for the tetragrammaton, the name of God. As I said, it's not likely because I don't think she knows that much about him. It makes a lot more sense that she's calling him Kyrie because that's what often, or what people would call the Roman Lord in the area when they wanted mercy from him, or they wanted something from him. He's passing by on his horse or his donkey, he'd say Kyrie, Kyrie, and that's a pretty common thing back then too. But that's something more that the pagans, the Samaritans, the Greeks, the other people subjected by the Romans would do. I don't know that the Jews would lower themselves enough to call a Roman overlord Kyrie. So I think this is just her being polite. So when you see a Bible translation where it says "sir," I don't think that's the best word for it, but I think that's the general idea. So, Lord, comma, ute, that's u and te connected together. Antlema, here is our verb. A case, epsilon iota sigma, that is a second person singular. Present tense, active and indicative. So you have, but specifically ute have, so not just u, but ute. So we've got, you do not indeed have antlema. That alpha right there could be a nominative singular, but that wouldn't make much sense. Could be a nominative plural, But if you take a look at the form of this verb, what you would actually see, not verb, noun, would be antlema, antlematos. And when it's got the alpha in the singular of a third declension, I think that normally means neuter. So accusative, singular, neuter. Lord, you do not indeed have bucket, water carrying device. I don't know why I wrote that letter. Kai and to frear estin bathu. Estin, movable nu. I don't know why the nu is there before beta. But third singular present tense, active and indicative. To frear. To tells us that this is going to be neuter. Estin tells us that this is its subject, so neuter nominative singular. The well, or the pit, is a bath. And what is a bath? Well, a bath is something that's deep. I don't know if bathu in Greek works the same way as altus or altum in Latin, because altum can be used of the sky, and it can be used of the distance, not just the sea. When you say mare altum, you're talking about the deep sea. When you say caelum altum, you mean the deep sky. The sky is vast. I don't know if bathu can be used the same way, but I imagine it would be. And then that actually brings up a question for me. I'm sorry, we're off track here. But altum, when it's in the neuter by itself, substantively it means the sea. It's just the deep, the big body of water, the darkness, the scariness that is that. And I would imagine if bathu can be used the same way as altum for uses with mare, uses with caelum, and the like, then bathu can probably also be used substantively to talk about the sea. But I don't know that I've ever seen that. So, bathu, same form as frear. This is one of our eius adjective, batheus, batheia, bathu. And the masculine and the neuter are weird third declension, whereas the feminine is a first declension with the stem bathe, and it's alpha. I don't remember if it's the hybrid or the just alpha. That's something you could look up and let me know. So, the well is deep. Colon. Pothen un a case. So that again, no need to parse it. Pothen, we've got the locative suffix on there. From where un, therefore, do you have tall hudor? Now with the article, so she's going particular water. She's thinking of something definite, whereas Jesus was not necessarily being definite there. We've parsed those before. We've also parsed that before with the participle. This time we've got the participle with an article. So an attributive position. So is that? Yes. Attributive is after the article or between the article and the noun. So, where therefore do you have the water? Since we got the extra article, the living type. So that's actually me treating it like it's a predicate. I always have problems remembering interaction of adjectives and articles in Greek. Oh well, the living. But I'm pretty sure it is actually an attributive here, so understand that right there. Question mark. Ugly question mark. Proper question mark. End quote. End quote. And there we have it. Let's take a look at it in its own context. Jesus answered and said to her, "If you had known the gift of the God, and who it is the one saying to you, 'Give to me to drink,' you would ask him, and he would give to you living water. The woman says to him, Lord, you do not indeed have bucket, and the well is deep. From where, therefore, do you have the living water? All right. And then, I think from this point on, we're just going to start at 7. This is where the real interaction between the two starts. A woman comes from the Samaria to draw water. But Jesus says to her, Give to me to drink. For the disciples of him had gone into the city in order to buy victuals. She says therefore to him, the woman, the Samaritan one, How do you, being a Jew, ask from me to drink, although I am a Samaritan? Woman. For Jews do not have dealings with Samaritans. No, they really hated each other. Jesus answered and said to her, If you had known the gift of the God, and who it is the one saying to you, Give to me to drink, you would ask him, and he would give to you living water. The woman says to him, Lord, you do not have water, or you do not have indeed a bucket, and the well is deep. From where, therefore, do you have the water? The living water. And there we have it. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope taking a look at these has been helpful for you, and I hope that you have a very good day. Farewell.
What? You're still awake? Why are you still here then? You should be reading a book. Or if not reading, you should watch one of these other videos. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. See you next week.